Hello everyone, I'm Robin and welcome to Robin Woodcraft. This is a segment I would like to call Would You Answer? Wherein I take one of the questions from the YouTube channel or the Facebook page and I do my best to answer it from my point of view. Before we start, I'd like to give a very warm, heartfelt thank you to everyone who watched my first review video of the GKS 18V-68GC. Special thanks to Rene Amaral for catching that mistake that I made and pointing it out. I've made the correction in the video. Thank you to Ma'am Christian for trying to help me answer one of my questions in the group page. It was quite funny because I was asking a question and about the GKS 18V-68GC and she referred me to my own video, which was quite flattering. So thank you, Ma'am Christian, for watching. I really appreciate the gesture. And special thanks to Kenneth Asilum for the GKT 55 GCE shirts that I just received. They're really cool, comfy, and I like the design. To give you guys a bit of context, this question is regarding one of the signages that I made and posted on the Facebook page. This signage was for one of our clients and was, for the most part, made using a rotary tool and a trimmer router. So with that in mind, let's proceed to the question. Our question for today comes from Eric on the Facebook page. So Eric asks, "What do you call that bit, sir? I want to learn carving with the router. What bits will I need? What wood do you use? Thank you." I typically use pine, Douglas fir, lawan, mahogany, basically any wood that's readily available and will hold detail nicely and not splinter too easily. You could also use palochina or recycled wood, but you have to be really careful with nails and imperfections since you usually don't want those in your signages unless intentionally adding them for character. So basically nearly any type of wood would be suitable, probably except cocoa lumber because those are too splintery. For the router bits, I'm assuming that most of us will have something like this. These cheaper flat blades. Well, these are good for trimming and rough work. These are not really good for signage making because they tend to rip out chunks of wood instead of cutting them cleanly. For signage making, I prefer these special spiral carbide bits. For the details, you'll need a smaller downcut bit. So I prefer to use this 2mm downcut bit with a 3.175mm shank. So I use it with this cordless rotary tool along with a plunge router base to make all the motions that much more easier. The downcut spiral bit pushes the wood fibers down on itself. So it cuts it very cleanly without leaving tear out, which is good for those very small details. And since it's shaving the wood in a spiral pattern, you don't get that tear out from the flat blades. Now, you can also find upcut bits, but you don't want to use them since they pull the wood fibers out, which will result in more tear out. We also have this special compression bit, The one I use is 6 millimeters in diameter, and I use it with this trimmer router. Now, a compression bit is a combination of a downcut bit and a upcut bit. The upcut portion is in the first few millimeters on the tip of the blade. This makes this bit very good for plunging, same as a upcut bit. But it has a downward spiral the rest of the way. Once you've reached a certain depth, it's essentially a downcut bit, which pushes the fibers down. Similar to the smaller bit, it makes a very clean cut. So I like these spiral carbide bits because you can usually take deeper cuts with them. And as mentioned before, they make very clean cuts.
To show you guys what I'm talking about, I'll demonstrate some of the sample cuts made using the different rotary tool bits and the trimmer router bits. We'll just speed through this process since it took quite a bit of time doing it. I'll be flashing the bits that I used here on the screen. Okay, so this is how each of the cuts made by the bits look like. On the rightmost hand side, we have the 2mm carbide downcut bit. And as you can see here, the cut is very clean. So I really like this bit for making those finer details, and you don't really need to sand much off here, just a light pass, since there's hardly any wood fibers that are pulled out. Next one on its left is a 60-degree V-type flat edge engraving bit. I made 3 lines using this bit. The rightmost one is using only the V portion of the blade. So this is only a very shallow cut, but as you can see, as long as we stick to the V portion of the blade, the cut remains pretty clean. This changes, however, if we try to go any deeper and engage the straight, long, flat section of the blade, and we get a lot of tear out. Next one up on the left is a 3.175mm ball nose end mill. This bit is in an upcut configuration, and as you can see here, we did a very light pass, a very shallow pass, but there is a lot of tear out there, and it gets even worse as we go in deeper. I even tried to use a deburring tool on the leftmost pass over here, but the results are really quite suboptimal, and the fact that you have to clean up after it, it means doubling your work, so I don't really like that. Moving on to the trimmer router bits, we have the 6mm compression bit over here, and this first pass using it is a very shallow one, using only the upcut portion of the bit. And as you can see, there is a lot of tear out. This changes, however, as we go deeper and start engaging the downcut segment of the bit. So whether it's just a straight pass, single line pass through the wood, or hollowing out a wider section, this blade provides a very clean cut, and I like using this blade. Next up, we have the V-type flat edge bit. This one is at 45 degrees. This was one of the cheaper bits that I was talking about. However, the V-type bits are actually quite good in engraving, probably because of their shape. There's a lot less tear out compared to the upcut bit, and I could see myself using these. I actually used this on several of my designs, and whatever little tear out there is, it's easy to sand because of the shape itself. So yeah, this bit is quite decent. And finally, we have the flat edge straight cut bit, and this one is actually not as bad as the upcut bit. However, there's still quite a bit of tear out here comparing it to the downcut and the compression bit. So if you have the option to get one of those downcut or compression bits, that would be much better since you have less rework to do with your engravings. So all in all, for me personally, if I'm making signages, I would use downcut or compression bits and V-type bits whenever you need that bevel shape. I would pass on the upcut bits and the flat edge bits just because they require a lot more work to clean up. So those are my recommendations for the bits if you're gonna try your hand out at signage making. The carbide bits are a bit more expensive, way more expensive than the cheaper flat edge bits, but they last a lot longer, they stay sharp longer, they allow you to make deeper cuts, they save you time and effort. So in my case, the added cost of purchasing these bits are quite worth it. Those participating in the free router bit or rotary tool giveaway that I'm doing on the Facebook page, here is your secret key phrase. So the key phrase is no tear out. I repeat, the key phrase is no tear out. So for those who wish to participate and get a chance to receive a free compression bit or downcut bit for their rotary tool or router respectively, head on over to the Robin Woodcraft Facebook page and the rest of the mechanics are there.
Be careful when you're routing manually. Wear goggles or safety glasses to prevent the wood shards and dust from hitting your eyes. Wear earmuffs or earplugs where applicable because these routers can get pretty loud and you don't want to damage your hearing permanently. Wear masks so you don't get dust in your lungs, and keep your hands away from the spinning edge. So Eric, I hope this answers your question and helps you in your quest to learn how to make signages and designs using routers. I'll leave the Lazada and Shopee links for the items shown here in case any of you guys want to purchase that specific item. Now, the things I've said here are things that I've learned in practice and what I've tried and what works for me. There are other styles and techniques out there which may fit you better. So keep an open mind and keep on learning and absorb as much as you can. If you found this content useful, please hit like and subscribe. You can also dislike if you, for some reason, don't like it. If you have any thoughts, suggestions, or any questions, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll try my best to respond and answer to them. This has been Would You Answer, and see you guys until next time.